All right. Give it a minute here to hopefully let some people show up for the stream. But we are here on turn 1. So the question is, what are we going to do with our turn 1? Okay. Like I said, I'm going to give it a couple minutes for people to show up before we get truly into it, but I think that they're, from my expansion testing, both on and off the stream, I think that there's a couple of options for what we can look to do here. So the first bit is sort of looking at the map. TNN and Abyssia form this triangle with us. So there's a lot of really nice lands in between us, which is great, but we don't all the Peltas. Yes, so I think that the Peltas are definitely good. So currently I'm between 1 and 2 sets of Peltists. We are not going to be, though, as good as at Peltists as like a full scales Mekone. We have decent scales, but it is a Disciples game, and we've had to make some concessions to our teammates. So, like, we're running Turmoil 3, which is going to eventually eat into Peltis production a little bit, and that we don't have quite as much gold. Additionally, of course, in Disciples, we don't start with any scales. So that is also a thing that's going to impact our income, etc. But, so when we look at our position in... yeah. It does come fast, but we have, I think we're Turmoil 3, Prod 3, Heat 2, Luck 3, Growth 0, Magic 2, something like that. So we're definitely not full troop scales. I think my first party, I've been between 2 options. The first is recruiting like an effer, and then a handful of our Giganti Ekdromos. Yeah, we do not have ideal Mekone scales. Abyssia is on our team, so we have Heat 2 for them. Abyssia is the pretender, in fact. So this is we're definitely not on like the ideal Mekone scales. We're gonna try and make do with working with our teammates. But so like one opening I think is something like this, which adds these Giganti to our party. It's fairly strong. The other option, which I've been playing with, is, and I think I kind of like, is starting with a Cyclops and a bunch of the hoplites, because we actually do manage to spend just about all of our gold and our resources this way. It's only a handful of extra hoplites, but it does help our starting party a lot. Yeah, it'd be 3 big guys and a small guy, but this gets us a decent number of extra little troops to help our first party, and the Cyclops is going to produce resources and decent research for us going forwards. It's also difficult to recruit a Cyclops in the rest of our expansion because we kind of want to be producing, you know, a leader every other turn, because our Giganti won't follow a small guy. So we can't recruit anybody from a neighboring province and send them in to lead. So this is sort of what I had been sort of testing with and on as like a reasonable start. The only thing which is holding me back is when we look at the territories we want to get after, right? So we don't, the production on the small hubs, it's a lot. These guys are 29 resources. So they're quite a bit. We can spend 330 gold Oh, the prot. Sorry. 17. They have a length 4. They 17 prot. They have a length 4 weapon. They do fine. They're not like super amazing. But they're fine. Certainly for like a first party. What is causing me some questions is the most valuable territory that is outside of sort of our triangle is this right here, which is a large farmland. Now, I don't know exactly where our neighbors are all spawning. Thank you. Even though I made the map and theoretically could know where everybody's spawning, I did my best not to look, not to remember, to keep it sort of fair for everybody. So I don't remember precisely where our neighbor is spawning. I think it's somewhere over here. So this is like theoretically a contested province, and is probably the best contested province that we could go after. I don't know. I really enjoy. Yeah, EA Heavy Cav is definitely a thing. I think are like what I'm worried about. So I think the strongest party that we can make turn 1 is not these little guys. It has a handful of these Giganti. Because they've got plenty of attack and a huge damage weapon. They will absolutely cut right through Heavy Cav. You throw a handful of your starting army in the way to eat the lances, and you'll cut right through it. The problem is they cost too much gold. We can't get the Cyclops if we do it that way. If there's only a handful of Heavy Cav, our hoplites will do fine. But if this province has like 15 Heavy Cav, our starting army plus a handful of recruited hoplites will not get the job done. And we'll have to send a secondary party out to claim it, which is kind of my fear. Now, I don't know precisely where the next nearest player is, and this throne does cut off between this throne and these mountains. And to be honest, there's a lot of mountains. It kind of cuts off a lot of our opponents, so we might have a little bit more time to get here in case our first party can't do it. But that's sort of my first objective in seeing our spawn is how do we get this large farm. I'll go ahead and zoom out, though. We've got a couple more people here. Yeah, let's see how many belts we can make. So these guys we can make. All right, I hit it. I hit it 3 times, so that's 10, 20, 30. 36 peltists. But I don't, so I like the second party being peltists. I don't love the first party being peltists. We could potentially go and test this too. But I liked the first party just having the extra hoplites, and then the second party being able to spend all of our gold with these guys. And these guys can then take out lizards, barbs, maybe a small number of not the tribes, who the people, Cynocephalians, something like that. If we do this, we can't really get a mage besides the Durante. Pronunciation is not my strong suit. And these dudes are old. And I don't want to make more old mages, particularly expensive, like 100 gold for 7 research mages, than I have to. Well, you have bad luck. I don't know what to tell you. You're cursed. Try to be less cursed in our game. So what is a weird wizard? I know it's a role-playing game. It's coming out, Shadow of the Weird Wizard. Um, is it like a cloud mage, like a blood henge? A lot of different wizard options out there. The Hella Ekdromos. How many of those could we make? So we can make 6 of the hoplites, or 8 of the Ekdromos. That is a lot of militia. I think at current numbers, with the gold we have, the hoplites are going to do better. 17 protection, 9 defense versus 11 protection, 11 defense. I think that these guys have more of an argument when you have more gold available. Like recruiting all of them leaves 57 resources on the table. Getting Soul Slide right out of the gate is not where you want to be. That much I can confirm. Or finding the Lamia with the Fenris pelt right in your cap circle. Good for later. Tough on the first expansion. Oh, mixing and matching. Let's see. So this gets you 8 guys, as opposed to what I say it was 6. That seems reasonable. Yeah. I mean, this is probably pretty darn decent. It best uses our resources and our gold. We still get what, 4? It's 4 and 4. It's not too bad. Yeah, all right. I can roll with that. I can buy that. I like to put these guys our formation something like this. Put the Ekdromos on the wing, because they're a little bit faster too, and then have them kind of come in on the side a little bit after, and let these guys take the blow. We're not on disc throwers yet. Not quite. I'm not quite there. Get in there with their fists, go and fisticuff the Indies to death. Now, you know, if they were sacred, then we could take a bless, help them out. But not sacred. Not quite sure. This does very nicely spend all our resources. Oh no, there's a disc thrower. How can there be a disc thrower build? They can't take a bless. It requires Jade. I mean, sometimes you find Jades out there. What are the Jades doing? What do these guys have stats for? What are the Jades doing? Okay, Moss Body, I get Army of Lead. Where that's a little bit of a ways away. But fair enough. I certainly see Moss Body working out. Although I don't know, are these guys better with... These guys seem worse with Moss Body than your other sort of Gigantes, because they are not... they don't fit to a square. They don't have Formation Fighter. Literally punch through steel. Yeah? Yeah, they do. But you know what else punches through steel? Having a weapon. Having a weapon cuts through steel. That's true. Although this is this is a DE game. So when we get to construction 3, which is where I think we're going first. Oh, I didn't even look at our research. We got evocation 1.5, enchantment 1, and Thaum 1.5. Thaum 1.5 sucks. There is nothing here for us. We cannot cast a single spell in Thaum except desiccation on our slow to recruit cap only randoms. How much ammo do they have for I don't think they have like a ton of ammo for oh, they have 4. Okay, that's better than I thought. I think our plan is to go construction 3 though, which gets us to the Godslayer Forge. We potentially have to have us or one of our teammates go to construction 4 to forge one item. But the Godslayer Forge is going to let us recruit Godslayer Hoplites, which are slightly better versions of our standard Gigante Hoplite. I don't remember the precise difference, but the most important difference is they have a little plume on their head. But besides that, they have a Godslayer Spear instead of a Golden Spear, which is the item we can make for 3 gems. They all just have it. It's going to deal fatigue damage to enemy sacreds or gods. And I want to say they have slightly better armor, but I'd have to check. Yes, they have, exactly. They have the Polemark Spear, the Godslayer Spear, which is pretty nice. So I think my plan is to go to an early construction 3, try and get myself pooled a bunch of fire gems from my teammates. The blue hoplite starts with the spear. Yeah, the polemark. But there's a big difference between being able to recruit one polemark with the spear and being able to recruit several hoplites with the spear. But yes, you're right. He does start with the spear. This is one that they would then all have access to. I think that we are, as Mekone, in a very good spot against a lot of enemy early rush strategies that rely on sacreds. We do love halting heretics. Because in addition to getting Godslayer spears on recruitable infantry, we also, at Evocation 3, if we so choose, get access to Power of the Godslayer and Name of the Godslayer. Power of the Godslayer is an AoE 5 stun with no save. They're just stunned. And you could be, you could have all kinds of elves with all kinds of defense, and that is not going to save them when they are stunned and can't even make a save to avoid. Name of the Godslayer is, I think, a little bit worse. Like it has a higher, its success, its highs are higher and its lows are lower. It makes them confused, but they do get an MR save. We are not up against a Van Hers. Yeah, we can go through the enemy teams. Good point. All right. The enemy teams are, and let me bring up the Discord on the side here so I can make sure I've got all the correct teams laid out. We are Mekone, TNN, and Abyssia. All of our names are the people we wanted to play instead of who we are playing. We are up against, let me try and do this so I have the chat where I can actually see it. Hold on. We're not up against Van Herses. There is a Helheim, but we're not up against the blessed Van units in the same way. Team 2 is Alkera, which is a really high defense nation of magic powered beings. Okay, they have a Van Hurst, but it's not the sacred Van Hurst. Do they have a Van Hurst? No. I mean, they have, yes, they have, okay. All right, I take it back. They have the Van Hurst, which is just this little unit, but they don't have, like, Van Heers. I am not terribly afraid of the Air 1 Van Hurst. Oh, no. Well, thank you for joining, and have a restful sleep. Yes. Van Hurst is a commander. You're right. There are Van Hursts, but there are no Van Heers. But anyway, Team 2 is Alkera, Helheim, and then Albion. Yes, well, thanks for stopping by. And Albion is this, like, I think they're supposed to be Irish. I'm not 100% sure, but they look like they're trying to be Irish to me. Of these, like, demon giants. Team 3 is Sarmatia. Bod, which is, I don't know the flag of. Nope. This one. I think they've got a bunch of cold power stuff. Pictish giants, basically. And then Atlantis. So we actually, so they have Atlantis. We have an interesting thing in this game. So 3 of the teams each have 1 underwater player, which I think is going to be kind of interesting in how it sort of plays into the global diplomacy. It is Tibet. Because those 3 underwater nations all kind of want to fight each other, but the way people probably spawn around the lake is that all of the teammates of those underwater players are probably going to spawn on other sides of the lake and are going to have a hard time actually fighting each other. So you're going to have all these underwater nations kind of duking it out while their teammates sort of look on impotently from the land. It is a weird choice, and it has the same problem of all the underwater, or all the land nations now have 2 people to try and fight the land nations that have 3 people. So I'm interested to see how this goes for them. It seems like the diplomacy could be a little bit tough. Because you're sort of down a person early. Team 4 is Zion. Atlantis is with Sarmatia and Bod. Yes, we need to team up with the land teams to kill the underwater teams. Atlantis with Sarmatia and Bod. Atlantis, Pelagia, and Oceania are the 3 water teams. Zion, Satis, and Tianchi is the last all land team. Hinam, Juhera, and Oceania are a team. And Femoria, Shako, and Pelagia are a team. And Hinam was stolen from me with a first round pick, which is, befitting how good I perhaps think they are, but I also thought that they were going to drop and I was going to get to pick them. I was not prepared for them to get stolen in the first round. Also, it seems doubly amusing that only Mekone managed to have a little bit of dominion expand outwards. Both my neighbors just went ahead and added to their own capital dominion. Yeah, we don't. On one hand, it's true. We don't want Pelagia winning because they can break Sea of Ice naturally. On the other hand, this is EA, right? And Pelagia has a tough time getting. Yeah, 77 is a decent province. Pelagia has a tough time getting on land, especially if we kill their land teammates. They could have a tough time actually winning the game. I am very excited for the next Dominions release. Yeah, it's funny. So the tier list for Dominions D that we were looking at and referencing was on the Reddit Discord, and they had my beloved Hinam in D tier, and Baratos was F tier. So we got problems with them. Wow, killing Ea Gartha with Turtle Warriors. That's a thing. I mean, you know, if it happens, it happens, I guess. I mean, yeah, they clearly have their own opinions. And we didn't quite go by them. I think from their standards, we have Mekone, which is a B, TNM, which is a B. And his cookies remind me, is Abyssia a B? Is it a C, according to them? There's a video... Prague? Yeah, you can send me a link. I probably won't watch it today, but... It's... Oh, cool. Yeah, if you link it to me, I'll try and get around to it. So we certainly didn't strictly follow the tier list, but we did try and use it as a bit of a barometer. Although it didn't help at all, right? Because Zion and Hinam were first picks in this game, and they're D and F tier per the Reddit thing, respectively. Yeah, Theranos with no ghosts was thrown around. I don't think that one was I don't think that one was ever seriously considered, but it is theoretically an option. I think we picked TNN first because we thought it was kind of a versatile pick. They could go heavier into scales, heavier into a bless. Strong nation by themselves. So we thought it seemed like a decent first pick. And again, all of my strategies were Hinam related. I was fully planning on picking them no matter what everybody else thought. And then they were stolen. Yeah, no Vanheim, no Airmore picked. And sort of regardless of a DE tier list, those are both, you know, relatively strong nations even in vanilla. Baratos and F tier, it hurts my heart. Cuts me real deep. Yeah, I am not 100% sure why they have Atlantis in A tier. I think like water magic is a bit buffed. So is fire magic. So maybe that helps. But I'm not 100% sure on oh, that's a cute turtle. I'm not 100% sure on their rationale. I know their Baratos rationale is that they think it's rush bait. I mean, I did not make the list. Maybe they really like the Basalt Kings. But hard to say. One thing we're going to have to be dealing with and keeping in mind as Mekone here is we need to recruit an effer before the fall or the autumn. Otherwise, our helots will revolt and nobody will be here to declare war against our own population. My disciple is a Telkeen, who I think is air 2, water 2, earth 2, death 2, nature 2. It might be like death 3, it might be nature 3, something like that. Yeah, we're dormant, so it should show up around turn 7, 8. I think it can expand with a little bit of gear, but I might also plan on having it go in site search. It's got some paths I don't have access to, as well as just being pretty wide on paths in general. And then it has the idea with it, right, is it can cloud trapeze onto people with its foul vapors nonsense, if needed, or just like accompany a group of expendable hoplites or something, and gas the enemy armies. Abyssia is the pretender, and they have a divine glyph. TNN has an enchantress that has a whole bunch of paths for stuff. There is a mercenary encampment, but I don't think we care about that this time. We have a lot of nice farmland here, potentially, which is nicely sort of in, this one maybe a little bit less, but for the most part, sort of in our triangle. So we should have pretty good expectations to get this large farmland on water, this large farmland on water, and then this large farmland on water. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we could, I don't think we're going for the Merc anyway, whether he was good or not. I like what we're going for here. I like this. I like the strategy. I think that it is versatile. I think that it sets us up for success in the future. Get those resources going early and then try and snowball them forwards. You know, we obviously have no idea what is waiting for us. We could have all kinds of ridiculous bullshit, but that's just the game. But I think ideally we're going to try and go here into here. Again, whether or not that ends up being feasible, I don't know yet. But if the indies allow, I think that is our best bet to get a ton of money early and try and then snowball that into good expansion, getting infrastructure up, getting mages, etc., etc. I mean, you know, we have a lot of ridiculous nonsense. Rock of Ages. Rock of Ages. Which one is the Rock of Ages? Is that the... That's not the Hellenica god, is it? The big circle of stone with a face on it? Otherwise, I can't remember what a Rock of Ages is. Rock of Ages. Yeah, I think no worries. It's hard to keep them all straight. I think that's the Hellenica mod. Can we kill it? I don't know if we could kill it or not, but it was not killing it was not in my list of things to worry about here. I took the Rock of Ages in my preparing game. I was pretty happy with it. It did its job. Um, yeah, there are. I did partially want to play a DE game for this game because of Dominion 6 coming out, and I assume that it's gonna take the mods a decent amount of time to get ported. I think everybody's gonna be pretty happy playing vanilla for like a decent while, so I thought it made sense to try and get in some of the modded gameplay before we switched over to Dom 6. Although I wanted to do it as Hinam, but you can't always get what you want. All right, let's see. What else is there to think about? I set up this map, obviously. I did my best to make the water nations fair and balanced, keeping in mind that we have a couple nations with coastal starts. Like, I think this is a coastal start position. Theoretically, this should be fair for them. Hopefully, is the idea. That was what I tried to have it do. Couple of lakes as well. But I mean, yeah, it's it's turn 1 here, so there isn't necessarily a huge amount to discuss. I think we're gonna go for this strategy. Thank you, Ballin. I think this is a slight improvement on what I was doing with our Elder Cyclops. Right, well, next turn then we'll finish the Cyclops. We'll recruit some probably Ekdromos, and the turn after look to recruit a Locos and some more Ekdromos for our next expansion party. My goal for this game, and this will be my first time trying to live stream a Dominions multiplayer game that's taking place over multiple turns. My goal is to try and stream at about 8 p.m. Central US time each night, at least during the week. On weekends and on like Fridays, I don't know if it will happen that way, just because I have, you know, other activities that I need to be available for besides just streaming Dominions. But my goal is to try and have a consistent schedule and sort of, you know, sign on, talk about the turn, you know, interact with chat, etc. Surviving early game is always a good starting goal. That's fair. So my hope is to have a bit of a consistent streaming schedule going forwards for this game, and you know, we'll see how well it works. I haven't done it before. I'm not aware of anybody having tried to do this before for Dominions, but I'm certainly not knowledgeable of the entirety of you know, what other people have tried. So it definitely could be the case that it's happened and I just didn't see it, didn't watch it. But I think it seems like it could be a lot of fun. Getting to interact with everybody who comes to watch, you know, discussing the plays, etc., etc. I think could be a pretty enjoyable time. So I'm really looking forward to the game. Lucy has done it once. Okay. Did they learn any lessons? Years ago. Okay. Yeah, I'm aware that I think it could be really hard. Ultimately, it just may be that this is not the game for it. But yeah, we're at the end of Dominions 5. This is like a fun game, right? It's 3-player disciples in a mod game. Like, I'm here for a good time, and we'll see what happens. I guess we should send our scout out as well. Probably away from our teammates, so he's gonna go this way. Well, good for him. I'm glad. I guess it's good he won. You know, I don't know what the chat's gonna say yet, so it's really hard to say if they're gonna be silly. Yes, exactly. Here for a good time, not a long time. I hosted this game. If we die early, by God, I'll host another one. Not constrained by the same rules as people who do not host games. All right, thank you for joining. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here as well. So thanks to everybody who watched, and I'm hoping that you come check it out in the future. Again, I'm gonna try and get a consistent schedule, and I look forward to playing with everybody. So have a good night, and I hope to see you all in the future. Adios.